Good evening. Right now, I'm taking the site right now and trying to paste it into um, our .com so that other people who are following us can also see it readily. It's coming along okay. I'm getting it posted on the .com. I'm hoping that it will come through okay. And now I believe that I've gotten that. Also, I'm wanting to paste in something that one of the viewers mentioned, and we had a conversation in regards to that. And what I want to do is I've lost camera. Okay, let me see here if I can find it again. There we go. Okay. But anyway, I have something else that I want to add to the show tonight. And it's from that conversation that I had earlier with one of the viewers. And it was in regards to Tulsi Gabbard's, the bill in that Senate, in the House right now. It's to end funding on terrorism. I believe it's Bill 608. You can Google to go to Tulsi Gabbard's website and see the video on it. I endorse Tulsi Gabbard's efforts in doing this if it can stop terrorism. Here we are on the day that we remember as 9/11, 9/11. A lot of American citizens lost their lives that day, and it was from terrorism. And because it was a terrorist act, we find that our nation's been plunged into a never-ending war. That never-ending war has cost thousands of American lives. Yes, bin Laden's dead. We should have pulled out of all these places once bin Laden had been captured, or in the event of resisting shot. He got off easy. I applaud the team that went in there and performed the operation. It was a very good operation, fellas. Very good. Very good. Those who would do harm to America have people like that waiting to be sent to get you. Plain and simple. We don't have to send divisions and wings of air support. We don't need that. We don't need that. We find you, we take you. Resist? Okay. It's your choice. But just be known, terrorists around the world. I would much rather sit down and listen to what your grievances are. I do not agree with our having so many bases worldwide. I do not agree with the persona that we place on the world as being an empire. We are a republic. We should defend the weak. We do not need to go in and do regime changes. Okay? If dictatorship, communism, fascism, whatever they got, It doesn't matter. It's us, the American people, our government, the American people. It's going to be how people look at us. And people are concerned that if our economy is failing, are we going to have another war, a major war, put people back to work at minimum wage, maybe $10 an hour? The pollution that it's going to cause to our environment here in the United States for conducting such wars. I agree with Tulsi Gabbard on this instance because our government say, well, we're not funding them. We're not funding them. Well, if there are other countries that we are selling arms to, we are funding the terrorist. We are providing arms to the terrorist from their intermediaries that are buying arms from us that we have no problem selling arms to, knowing full and well that they're probably going to sell them to some terrorist group as well. I mean, they're not worried about another country invading them. They're not worried about that. As long as they keep buying war materials from us, no country really has anything to worry about. Our president recently called an Arab nation one that houses terrorism, but then sold them billions of dollars in military equipment. Oh, why do you do that? Why do you do that? If they're doing terrorism and you're selling them billions of dollars in arms, why did you do that? We need more people. And so you know who I am. I got so tied up in doing the simulcast. I'm Dave Strider. I'm an independent candidate running for the position that Maria Cantwell currently holds. She is a U.S. Senator. And I am looking to replace her in 2018. With your help, we can do it. Just know that this is your voice that's being heard, not mine. I pay attention to what I hear, what I see, and then I reflect it. And then if I hit that nerve that you also agree with me in that, and there's things that I may not have said that you think I should bring up, say something. That is what this is all about, this forum, is so that we can hone our attack on those who want to take away from us. Good evening, Greg. Good to see you. Good to see you. But Tulsi Gabbard has a very good bill right now, 608. Greg, if you can get that bill that Tulsi Gabbard did and post it so people can have a link to that, even right here in this forum, I'd appreciate it. I fully endorse that action by the Congresswoman. I think it has merit. And our Congress is going to tell us, no, we don't sell arms to those people. Well, we also have to look about our intelligence agencies also being the purveyor of arms to these terrorists. We have to consider that. We have to make sure that our government, no phase, no part of our government, whether it's shadow or whatever it is, does not endorse, thank you, does not endorse the funding or the arming of terrorists. We as a people should not. If those people are real shitbirds, then we need to go and take care of it. But if they're not threatening us, why do we need to go? Think about it. The next 8 nations in this world do not have an army combined now. Those 8 combined the might of the United States of America. Nor do they have the training or the ability to go into any environment, any circumstance, and accomplish the mission. Why are we worried about a small country? Why are we worried about terrorism? We need to stop funding it, giving them the money, giving them the weapons, and stop selling it to these countries who are in turn taking weapons and military hardware that we sold to them for their defense, and they're turning around and selling it to the terrorists. Probably making a markup on it too. I would imagine they were. Probably twice as much as what they could have. Where do you think ISIS got all the weapons that they had? From the Iraqi army. Weapons that we left there in our pullout. Equipment we left there in our pullout. Not everything came out. So, where are we going to go with this? I'm also that I can check to see what some of the comments are. Ray, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I didn't get to read the whole bill, but I did see the video. I watched it twice, and I agree with the Congresswoman completely on this. I mean, we have to stop it. That's why 9/11, you know, what a perfect time to talk about it. Yes, somebody commits an act of terrorism on us, then we get the person who did it. We try to find out who was their boss. We try to do that. But we do not arbitrarily go into other nations because we're causing more terrorists. You bomb a school, you're causing more terrorists. You bomb a hospital, you're creating more terrorists. You support the travesty that's going on in Palestine, you get more terrorists. You let Saudi Arabia do what's going on in Yemen, you get more terrorists. And how many of the 9/11 jet bombers were terrorists? Or at least we found, you know, passports that were not completely burned. We couldn't find any human bodies, hardly. We could hardly find anything, really. But passports seemed to stay alive. They were legible. The point I'm getting at is we don't need to go around our nation with as many military actions that we're having around the world. We are not the policemen and women of the world. Hello from Wyoming. Michigan. Okay. Wyoming. Let's see. Rep Tulsi Gabbard, fan and supporter. Her former FBI translator, Osama bin Laden, was on the CIA payroll until September or summer of 2000. Yes, I have heard that too, and seen the same. Yes, we helped supply them Stinger missiles, did we not, to take on the Russians? Kentucky checking in. Welcome. Kentucky has been a safe haven for those people getting out of Hurricane Irma's way. I think they should stay put because Jose is on the way. Just a little side note when I saw Kentucky. Welcome tonight. Also, I'd like to reintroduce myself as Dave Strider, the independent candidate from the state of Washington. I am running for the position of U.S. Senator. I'm looking for your support, your votes. But those of you who are watching in other parts of the country, I encourage you to look for your progressives and your independents out there who are running in 2018. Need to get through the primaries. They need your help. You need to get out there and register and make sure that you can vote for them and support them if they're in your district. Get out there and support them. It's imperative that we do, because the only way that we're going to be able to get bills like 608 through that Tulsi has put to the floor is to have a group, a block of progressives who will push those kind of things through. That's the only way we're going to be able to make sure that we get the funding bill that we need every year in our appropriations. That's the only way that's going to happen, is by getting people in there, a block of progressive and independents that are doing the will of the people, bringing back the true definition of public servant, something that they're not now. There are a lot of wannabe kings and queens there, and none of them, they're just the court jesters. And it's time that they left. I've had enough of their type of entertainment. I think maybe some of you have too. But we need to stop the terrorist funding. We need to stop giving and selling arms to those nations who are committing acts of terror themselves. And I would venture to say that people think that same way about us as well. Okay? That's why we have to reconsider the, repurposing of our military. I'm not saying that we should cut it down, although there's probably some spending that could be cut realistically. And being a United States Marine, I kind of got used to having nothing. And now I understand they have everything. I mean, but no, those are the kind of things that I want to address. Repurposing our military into humanitarian efforts like the Amtraks that were there in Houston during the flooding, right as soon as the hurricane passed, to assist the first responders already there. Yeah, repurposing of our military to help out in areas such as the forest fires. The airlift command that we have is phenomenal, and we could do many good things in controlling forest fires that are ravaging here on the West Coast. Repurposing our military to do humanitarian efforts, and also perhaps working on our infrastructure. They can build roads every place else. They could build some really good roads here. And with the discipline that they exhibit and getting the job done in the set time that they have, yes. I say yes. Repurposing our military to humanitarian efforts meaning here in this country, building and repairing our infrastructure. Instead of some place having people shoot at them. They're here home safe. They're building America. I had a slogan that I started back last year, and it may be something that someone else has already said, but it was called Veterans Rebuilding America. We have the skills, we have the drive, and we took an oath to you. For those of us who go into public service, for those of us who sign on the dotted line to protect you from all enemies, foreign and domestic. So, I mean, what better bunch of people could build our roads, repair our highways, all kinds of things. Distribution, logistics. Think about it. Repurposing our military. We need to also stop our runaway Congress and Senate. That's the only way that we're going to be able to put a check on the president for some of the things that he wants to take away from us that are currently there. I'm not saying that a lot of the bills are, but if we take them and then we amend them and fix them and take the pork out of them, I think that we can get the things that we need in this nation. We can make that appropriation when it's time for all the things that we need and the things that we don't need, like funding terrorists and or their organizations. A strong America is one where everyone can work who wants to. A strong America is not working 40 hours a week and still not having enough to put a good meal on the table. A good America, a strong America, is taking care of our sick and our aging. A strong America is preparing the future for our young people because tomorrow they'll be our leaders. We need to rebuild ourselves, redefine ourselves as Americans, as to who and what we are. It's okay if some of the compassion comes out in you. It's okay if some of the anger does too, because then you kind of know what bothers you the most. So I won't block anybody here. If you come on and you're angry and something upsets you, please, by all means, voice it, vent it in the emotion that you are experiencing at the moment. How else can I find out? How else can anyone else find out? Okay? Just try not to use too many four-letter words. I resign myself to slipping one in every now and then. Okay? We have some additional comments. Let me check up now. Lee Perkle, thank you so much. She says, thank you. I'm supporting my progressive for Congress in Washington. I have one that I met that's in my area, and she's a real firebrand. She speaks with conviction, and she walks the talk with conviction, with integrity. Good one. I believe Congressional District number 9. Sarah Smith, running against the incumbent, Adam Smith. I have another comment here. Dorothy Gasp. Yes, I've heard good things about her. And there are so many seats that are coming up in 2018. That's why we need to do everything we can to support the people here in Washington and take a formative block with us to the nation's capital. I am so pumped up about the turnout, the people out there doing it. I think we're going to have trouble with the Democratic Party in some cases when it comes to the primaries. I hope not. But I think that may happen, that may occur. And so we want to be on our guard, okay? We want to be on our guard because after this past dismissal of the lawsuit, I don't think it's time to be supporting Club DNC. I mean, it's like you're going to a raffle and maybe your vote counts and maybe it doesn't. So we really have to watch these primaries closely, especially the way they conduct them here in the state of Washington. We need to make sure that we're getting a fair count. We need to have those progressives, those Bernie people in the voting districts. You understand what I'm saying? We got to have some of those Bernie-crats out there watching the polls. Okay? Independents, true, honest people, not switching it to the incumbent and knocking out the challenger. Does that make sense? Can we do that, Washington? I just hope so. Let's do it in the other states too. Let's do it in Idaho, Oregon, all of them. Let's just sweep the West Coast that way and take the most powerful bloc to Congress that no one has ever seen. We could set history this year, folks, coming up in 2018. We could set history. We could set a precedent and send a message from the American people. We just have to go and do it. And we can do it everywhere. People from all over the country are tuning into this. The people that I've had the opportunity to meet, we talk, like interest, sometimes not always agree. But the thing is, it would be great if we could. It would be great if we could take a very progressive, independent bloc into DC. The things that could start happening. The things that could start happening for this nation. Take a moment and daydream for there. Okay. Automatic voter registration, would that be online? Scott Garris. the AVR, automatic voter registration. Um, can you explain that a little bit, sir, so the rest of the audience will know about it? I'm not familiar with it. I'm familiar that they're wanting to do a nationwide electronic via computer. DMV. Oh, I could see registering to vote when you get your driver's license. I could see that. Um, I think also your social security card, which a lot of you who are younger than I am, um, when you're born, you're given a social security number. Everything that you do is tied to that social security number, and your health care, your Medicaid, and everything else is tied to that social security number. And when you turn 18, uh, hold on a second, he's elaborating here. But when you turn 18, you would have that voter registration. You'd be already logged into it when you turned 18. You get a different ID card. It would also, but you could take it virtually anywhere because your social security card ties into everything. I mean, you get a new ID card, driver's license, or whatever, everything could be automatically transferred and collaborated into your file in a national way, no matter where you lived. If you moved, relocated because of a business or a job or retirement, you'd be able to go in and get your new driver's license for that state. I mean, it's important that we have state driver's license because it's just a good thing to do. With as many people in the world country named David Strider, it's a good thing that you have the state license because I'm the only Strider out here in Washington that I know of besides my wife. So the automatic voter registration, yes, I could see that, and I could see it being done automatically when you turn 18, because so many people after 1980 have their social security cards issued to them pretty much at birth. Not too much longer. I mean, they're still, you know, babies when they get that in the mail. Before their first year birthday, I believe, because of tax purposes now, you have to use that number to also identify your children to the IRS for any family deductions or dependent, the way different filings set up. Okay, so you're provided with that Social Security card right away. Okay, Yvonne next. Good evening, Yvonne. Uh, so Scott asks a question. What do I think about the situation in Yemen? Genocide. What do I think about the situation in Palestine? Genocide. Anytime a people are pigeonholed out, like what's going on in those two places I mentioned, genocide, Somalia. What else? The erasure of a people, of a culture. Does that make us better? I think it makes us less. We're human beings, all of us. Thank you, Yvonne. But no, genocide. And what we committed against our own first people here has been genocide. We called it manifest destiny. What they did in Standing Rock and what they've done similar places like that, since those first people signed those treaties, has been encroachment. If another nation, a good example, Iraq, encroached on Kuwait, took everything, had control of the oil. The first Gulf War. Same thing. We encroached on our people that had treaties by elected officials serving our nation and our president, all of these people duly elected to serve us and set the example of the way we're supposed to be, the way we're supposed to live. And yet, we, our governors across this nation, have done the allowance of sheriff departments, corporations, and mercenaries come in and enforce their will in another sovereign nation's land, desecrating sacred mounds, burial, destroying, encroaching, destroying the natural environment, all for oil. I'm not against oil. We need oil for some things, but not when it includes destroying the headwaters that provides over 10 million people water to drink. Genocide. We're committing it right now. We've committed an act of war against our first people every time we encroach on their land or allow that encroachment to occur by a governor or mercenaries or corporations. I don't see the first people pulling up weapons. I don't see that happening. But they'd have every right to. But then the governor and the mercenaries and the sheriff's department find a reason to murder every last one of them. More genocide. In our country, not just Yemen or Palestine or Somalia or any place else that a certain group of people need murdered, killed off, erased from history. I hope I made myself clear on how I feel about other human beings being treated like less than human. The people that are committing those atrocities, they have no right to be in humanity. They need locked up, judged, and sentenced, whatever it may be. Simple as that. No wars, no more. A mother cries her child has died. A father weeps his son's no more. No wars, no more. Can you take it anymore? Let's see here. We've been talking about terrorism, and I just spoke about our own nation's terroristic ways. We have the Ku Klux Klan, terrorist, America's first terrorist group, aside from colonials that decided they would steal everything they could from the native people. My family's been here since 1737, so I know that my family has come across the first people, the First Nation. I know that my family, somewhere in my history, has come across first people. I may be related to some of them, just not enough to show up on a DNA test. But I'd like to think that my forefathers and mothers thought of the first people the same way that I do, as human beings. I mean, they should. My grandfather was a pastor with the Lutheran faith when he came here in 1737. Almost 300 years my family's been on this continent. He arrived in Philadelphia, and I live in Tacoma, Washington, running for U.S. Senate as an independent, representing you people of Washington, and hoping that I have encouraged others that are tuning in from different parts of this country are also doing the same thing in their area, because we have to. We're still working on that map, the map of listing people by state, what they're running for. Also, some of you may have elections coming up this November. Please make sure you're registered to vote. Please make sure that you can vote those progressives that are going to be in your local governments, your parks and recreations, your port authorities. Make sure you're addressing environmental and progressives in those positions. Okay? Try to do that. Support them. Because what happens in the municipal side, the lower side, our neighborhoods, our towns, our cities, it affects our state. And then it also affects the way we send people to represent us in the nation's capital. I am from Washington State, and I'm really enjoying this good fight that we have. I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's been a long time since I had a good fight. I mean, I'm ready for this one. And we're going to Washington, D.C., plain and simple. And those of you who are in other states, those people that you help and that we endorse here on this page as well, they're going to be there too. We're going to put a block of us in there, getting what the people are saying done. Getting the things that people want done. We can do it. I've been shown the way, as many others have. And that is, we just got to stand up and take what we want. That's right. Take it. They have been taking from us. And so we're going to take the election away from them. We're going to make them spend all of their money running for a lost cause. We're going to take all their money from across the nation. Across the nation, we're going to take them. We're going to bankrupt the RNC. We're going to bankrupt the DNC if they're continually going to not work for the people. Now, don't get me wrong. There are good people on both sides. There are good people on both sides of those parties who are determined to change it from within. And some of them are first-time runners. Some of them are former Bernie-crats. Some of them may even been Greeners. Some of them may be independents. So all I'm saying is check the candidates out. Get those progressives and those independents out there and get them in office. We can do this, America. We can do this for those of you who are tuning in outside of Washington State. And I've really been thinking about that LASIK surgery. New York must register soon. Just so you know, New York must register soon. Do I know of any Indiana people running that are progressives? I can look and see. I can post it on here, Yvonne. Okay. I won't be able to do it today, right now. But yes, we're trying to get all the people in all the states who are running that are progressives or independents that we have vetted on our side, your side, the people that are living there. Okay? And we can throw their name up here on the page and we can create links for them. We can put them on our .com, which also hits Twitter and LinkedIn, Facebook. Sound good? All right, Yvonne. Let's see. In Washington, who am I running against? Well, the answer to that, Scott, is as an independent, I'm the only one running for U.S. Senate at this time. There are 3 Democrats that are contenders. The Green Party, undetermined whether they're going to put one in the race, but they may not. They've got some growing to do here in Washington, but they're dedicated people, and a lot of them are very progressive in their way of going. We all realize that we don't want to belong to a party, but sometimes it's better to associate oneself with a group of people. Well, I associate myself with you guys. I'm an independent. I can listen to what you're saying, and I won't take offense. I can listen to what you're saying and take it to heart and put it into application. And I love it when I see questions and comments. I mean, because one, that shows participation. And that's what makes this country run, the participation that we have. Okay. In Washington, the three Democrats that I'm running against I got a little sidetracked there because I'm really excited about it. But I'm running against Maria Cantwell. She's the current incumbent, two-term. And we have Gigi Ferguson. She is a Democrat. She is a progressive. And then we have a doctor. I can't remember his name. But anyway, those are the three Democrats that are running. Now, I've had the opportunity to meet Gigi. And by meeting her, I saw her at a Legislative District 27 meeting, and I had a chance to speak with her. And she's enthusiastic and everything. I don't have anything bad to say about her. But I'm going to be the senator going to Washington, D.C. I have nothing against Gigi. And the doctor, I don't know. But I'm going to Washington, D.C. Maria Cantwell, well, we know her. Just look at her record. But I'm tired of what's going on in Washington. I'm tired of our voices speaking and nothing's being done because they don't hear or they don't want to do anything about it. I want to make sure that your voice is heard. And I was taught by a very talented gentleman, Hugh Highland. He was my college professor, and I took public speaking from him. And being in the Marine Corps, I had a big voice anyway. I had a loud mouth, big mouth, whatever. Okay. He allowed me to develop my voice so I could go from studio time like we are now to an open auditorium and speak without a microphone. Yes, he taught me well. And I missed the gentleman. It wasn't until he passed years ago that I realized he was a fraternity brother of mine. And he asked me when I was joining that fraternity, pledging that fraternity, he says, "Why do you want to join that fraternity?" Why? Change, something to do. I'm bored. But yes, he taught me well. He taught me the art of speech and how to project my voice out, to speak with conviction, to let the emotions come out sometimes when they have to make sure that you can tell when I speak to you the passion that I have for issues. And if you ever challenge that passion, I want you to. I want to give you all of it, okay? I want to give it all to you. I want to give it to you in a silver platter, okay? So if you think that I'm overdoing a little bit, challenge me, okay? So you can see the real me come out. And it won't be anger. It won't be distasteful. You'll get to see my passion on that issue, my position. Yes, Kathy. Yes, Kathy. I'm excited about it too. I had a 3-hour private lesson with Joe Firestone. I believe I got that right. And it was a very, very good 3 hours. I mean, he went out of his way to accommodate my time zone. And I'm humbled by that thought that he did that for me. I mean, we went all the way up, I believe, until 1 o'clock his time. It was 1 o'clock his time by the time we shut it off, and then we had a little bit of free talk later off camera. And I really liked the fella, and I asked him as my campaign moves on, is there any way that I could get additional tutoring, ask questions and stuff? Oh, Kathy, that you saw? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was. It was a great time. I enjoyed it. I mean, some good things came across. I learned a lot that evening. I mean, what I had been misinformed on, I discovered why we didn't have to do it that way. But at the same time, it also fortified some of my positions on how to spend. And I just love that evening. And I'm looking forward to more. I don't know if we'll have private 30-minute Q&A that I set up with him, but yeah, I learned so much. The clarity and the direction that it went down. I mean, here coming up in October, I have a good friend of mine, Dr. Charles E. Williamson. He's a great guy. He's an entrepreneur, and I believe his website is, or it's his book. He's a published author too. I need a job. Google that. I need a job. In fact, let me put that in. But just Google this guy's name. I'll make sure I'm spelling things right. But that's his name. You can Google it, all one word, .com. He's also on Facebook. He has a private page. But if you Google that, that'll take you to some of the places that he's affiliated with. I'll be putting more information about him the closer he gets here in October. He's going to be live on the show with me. He's going to be talking about a platform that he's putting together where women actually will be running it. They'll be developing, designing, all kinds of different IT things. Also the servicing of it, the script writing. Yeah, that's what Charles is working on right now. So yeah, give him a holler. He'll be here in October to discuss more of it and give some more of the details and how to go about getting it started. As far as you IT women out there, you'll get a chance to meet Dr. Williamson and talk directly to him. Okay. So I'm looking forward to that time that he's out here, and we'll probably do the whole week because he's talking, it's basically, he looks at, women as being a very integral part in the information technology era, because it's not over. It's just beginning. Think about it. It's just beginning. 15 years ago, we couldn't, we could barely do this here. We didn't have the processors to be able to do what it's doing now. Networking the way we have, live, around the world, all at once. So yeah, Charlie's looking for those women out there that want to make a difference in IT. Okay? He's coming up in October. Google him, and they made you ran into that guy running for senator in Washington, Dave. Okay? They know. I dropped something here. My glasses. But yeah, check him out, Kathy. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. Very personal. Anyone who has a chance to meet him, it's like ice cream. You can't get enough of it, because the wisdom that he has, from organizing and laying out the plan for what he wants to do. Yes. Congresswoman Gabbard was vilified by mainstream media about her trip to Syria, but she was vindicated. Would you be willing to speak to our enemies to achieve peace? Yes, I would. I got to meet a young Yemenis man, Muslim. Okay. I got to meet him a week or so ago. Faisal was his name. And from Yemen. And he told me about what was going on. I want to know how to speak Arabic. And my wife speaks Thai, and I know Sawadee Ka, Yindi Makbaka, Ka, Ha Ha Ha. That's 555. I can understand a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of German, a little bit of French. That is, if it's a word that we stole for the English language, okay? What people are calling American now. American language is OMGs, TMI. That's our new language here in America. But he's the kind of young man that I would want to take with me to those places, so that I could have him translate to me. He spoke very good English. I feel safe with him. I would go there. I would do a report. Full recon. Okay? I can assess the situation. I'm a United States Marine. I may not be active, but I know what has to be done to assess a situation. And I would. What Tulsi Gabbard did was an excellent thing. She is an Army captain. She knows how to assess the situation. I'd go there with her. Yeah, I'd go there with her. Am I worried about anything happening to me? No. I'm not saying that it couldn't, but I'm not worried about it. For crying out loud. We start giving into fear, we'll never be able to fix the things that ail this world. But if we're the cause of someone being hurt, someone dying, losing family members, if we are the reason as a nation, we need to stop it. I don't want these people coming to our shores and doing that to us. I don't want them doing it to us no more than what we have already done and what we continue to do and what we must stop from doing. Tulsi Gabbard, what do they say now? I got your 6. Well, I got no problem with that. I'll jump in front of you if you want. I got no problem with that either. I'll walk right beside you. Got no problem with that either. But I stand with you. Wherever I'm at, front, back, rear, whatever. I stand with you. What you did was good. Because what you did by going there is you protected Americans from enemies, foreign and domestic. And Syria is not our enemy. Major, '05. Or '04, I mean. Yeah, '04. Officer rating 4, level 4. Congratulations. Yes, I watched the video from her site earlier, Ray, and of all the people that I'd like to meet, it's the Congresswoman. I mean, I admire her strength, her courage, her compassion, conviction. Yeah, I'd love to have her in my foxhole. Those are the kind of people that are standing up for all of us. She's a good woman, good leader. As far as her being vilified, I have to laugh. It's a shame, but I have to laugh at the straws that are grasped and the lies that are spun. I have to laugh. Don't you sometimes? Rather than, you know, crying's not going to do anything. Cursing's not going to do anything. But organizing in our states and voting for those people who are progressives, sending a block to Washington, D.C. of independents, progressives, doesn't matter what party they're in. If they're progressive and they're not toting the line and they're not listening to they're they're just Republican in name, but liberal, progressive, independent in their thinking. Blue dogs, I think they called them before. Blue dogs. Anyway, we can do it. That's how we take it back. That's how we have people like Tulsi stepping forward. She could very well be the next president. She very well could be. She has the skill. I would vote for her. I would vote for a congresswoman. She's proved herself above and beyond in her foreign policy and her domestic issues and cares about the people of Hawaii, as the nation as well. Yeah, I think she's proved herself. She could go into that position in 2020. I'd vote for her. I'd campaign for her too. Absolutely. I'm there in Washington, D.C. on recess. I'll be out campaigning in Washington State for her. I'll be other places campaigning for her. I'll go into the red states and campaign for her. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that for the Congresswoman. I'd do that. You betcha I would. Well, we're coming up on the hour, and I want to thank everyone for the questions that were asked, the comments that were given, the advice and direction. Well received. Thank you. We'll be here tomorrow night, probably a pre-recorded message with campaign manager taking the helm. I'll be out visiting local city councils and mayoral offices, introducing myself, starting my grassroots movement, one village, city, borough at a time. Wish me luck. Tuesdays and Thursdays are dedicated for that, and looking forward to everything that we are doing and how we're going to make it grow. And thank you, Vaughn. And Ray, I appreciate having you here tonight. I appreciate that. Kathy, thank you. Thank you. Good night, everyone. See you Tuesday pre-recorded and Wednesday live at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Remember, progressives, support them. Dave Strider for USSenate.com. Independent choice in Washington State. Yeah, thank you.